Okay. And I'd love to see your faces. If you're able to turn your camera on, great. Even if your kids are home, no big deal. If you're driving, that is a different story. So, okay, Texas business coach. I love that. Okay. Let's see, who else do we have? I'm in Oregon. I'm in Southern Oregon. So, originally from Iowa. Okay, who else do we have? Iowa, social media setter, ag equestrian, Washington State. My business is Reclaiming Your Strength. Victoria Johnstone. I'm from Alberta, Canada. Clinician, horse trainer, breeder. Awesome. Okay, Tennessee, social media ads manager. Very cool. Iowa nonprofit and virtual assistant. Massachusetts, I'm in sales. Nebraska, precision ag. Okay, Texas, Amarillo, life insurance. Okay, I used to have an insurance agency, so right there with you. Helping mothers with their health and fitness journey. Southern Oregon, Virginia. Oh, yes. You're from, for a second, I was thinking VA like Virginia, but virtual assistant. So, hey, Marina, it's nice to see you here. California, health and wellness, California. Very cool. So we got folks from all over. So let's get into some of our goals, and then we're going to get into how we can close out the year strong. So I talk fast. We're going to move fast. Don't worry, you're going to get a recording to this. Take notes if you want, take screenshots if you want, ask questions if you want. This is supposed to be interactive. I don't really want to just like talk at you the whole time. I want this to actually be of service to you so that you can close out the year strong and get some clients. Okay. Let's see, Southwest Washington, livestock, meat, and art. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so my question is, how much are you currently earning? Like, how many clients are you currently working with? How much are you currently earning? And what is your goal for the next, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks? How many clients do you want by the end of the year? Okay, I just did this with my group this morning. I would love for you to give me a good, better, best answer. The reason for that is we always want to shoot for best. And if we land at better or good, we're still hitting our goals. All right. Okay, zero goal is 6 clients. Okay. Let's see, who else? And if you have an income goal, you can put the income goal. If you have a number of clients goal, put the clients goal. It's however your business is set up, depending on if it's products or services or coaching or consulting. It kind of depends. So earning about 2K a month right now, 2 clients, 10K a month is my initial goal. Awesome. And for anybody who feels uncomfortable sharing it in the group chat, you're welcome to private message me. I've done that in the past on live trainings so that you can be as authentically you and as honest with where you're at. And I will not say names, I'll just share the information. Okay. Earning about, okay, current 3, goal 5, income 5K. Okay, 1, goal 3 to 5 clients. Awesome. Okay, that's your income goal. Okay, 2,000 right now. Good. 5, better, best. 8,000, 10,000. Okay, let's hear a couple more and then we're going to get into today's training. Okay, I just want to see where everybody is at so that that will give me a good idea of where we're going to take things. Okay. And I see you guys popping on your cameras. I love it. Love, love, love to see your faces. Okay. Currently, winter slows down a lot. Yeah, depending on the industry, winter can be like slow season for a lot of folks. Just depending on what industry you're in. And I'm offering a new mentorship service. So currently about 2,000. I would love to be around 5 over the winter seasons. Best would be 7 to 10. Awesome. Okay, current 2, 7, better 10, or better 10, best 25. Awesome. I love these goals. Okay, very cool. You guys are in the right place. I am going to share my screen here. And at any time you guys have questions, if something resonates, I love emojis. I love the whole reactions in here. I love when people are sharing their stories. It just makes this a lot more fun. And don't be surprised if I call on somebody. You don't have to answer me. You can totally ignore me if you want, but I do want this to be interactive. So I may ask, somebody for what their thoughts are on something on occasion. All right. So here we are going to present. Okay, Okay. We're going to stop winging it. We're going to start closing. I don't know who here is the master of winging it, but that used to be me. I was like the total, just go with the flow, gonna wing it. We'll see what kind of happens. I'm very much that way in my everyday life, but I have found in business, it does not serve me well. I am, if we want to get into personality types, human design, I'm a projector. In Enneagram, I'm an 8 with a 7, so that means I'm a challenger, I'm an adventurer, so I'm very like bold and out there, very risky, very like one thing to the next. I'm probably undiagnosed ADHD, so it's hard for me to keep on track with things. Oh, the whole diagnosis thing is a whole nother conversation for another day. But I need systems to keep me on track. Otherwise, I'm like a squirrel brain 90% of the time. Is anybody else like that here? Especially when you have kids, if you have a farm or a ranch or other things that rely on you, like sitting here, even before this, I'm like, oh, I wonder what my kids are doing. Oh, I have to get their wrestling stuff ready for tonight. So your brain is just bouncing in a million different directions, right? Yeah, late diagnosed ADD, motherhood brought it on me big time. Yes. Okay, so we're among like-minded individuals here, okay? So we want to talk about the client getting system that's going to bring in more sales before year end. All right, that's going to be the purpose of today. The agenda I'm going to walk you through just so everybody knows. We're going to do a welcome and what we're here for. We're going to dive into the real problem that is keeping you stuck and then get into the three-step client getting system. And then we're going to talk about buyer psychology. All right, I am a big believer in personality types and how that can affect how we are selling, how we are buying, how we are interacting with our clients. And so I'm going to dive into that because I find that there is not many other individuals out there teaching this in the online sales space, online business mentorship space. There are some things about there with human design and whatnot, but nothing really specific to sales psychology. So we're going to talk about that and then some year-end closeout strategies. We'll do some live coaching, some hot seat coaching, and then I have some bonuses, some giveaways for you, and we're going to talk about next steps. So as we're going through this, you can also actively pull up any conversations that you may be having with people, whether it's email, text message, direct message. You don't have to share their actual names, but you can share the conversation and we can save that for the live coaching part. And I would share how I would reply to those people or how I would follow up with those people. Okay. So if you bring those real-time examples, you will get real-time answers. All right. So, what I want you to know is that you are sitting on money right now. You have people in your inbox, on your social media, in your network who are waiting for you to take initiative to close the deal. And today we are going to wake them up. Most people will only follow up 1 to 2 times after an initial sales conversation. Sometimes that can be in direct message. Sometimes that's an actual Zoom call or an appointment, in-person appointment. Sometimes it's a phone call. Most people will only follow up 1 or 2 times, when in reality, most people don't close the deal. They don't sign the dotted line until 6 to 8 times or more follow-ups. All right. And that's because today's buyers are busy. How many people here are busy and forget that they wanted to do something at one time? Right? It's like, oh, yeah, I did want to do that thing. Oh, yeah, I did want to do that thing. Right. And so most people think they are being annoying by following up, or they don't want to bother somebody by following up. Has anybody had those thoughts before? Yeah, pretty much everybody here. I mean, I've even had it. I'm like, oh God, am I being irritating right now? And you know what? Sometimes I probably am, and that's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, right? Yep, me, exactly. All right. So we are going to talk about a way for you to wake up your leads in a way that feels authentic and genuine and natural to you, and not this bro, salesy, pushy, like just buy here type of thing, right? How many people have had a follow-up where they're like, just checking in, are you ready to buy? Here's my link. Here's my link. And you're like, get out of my DMs, like just go away. And so if that happens, do your due diligence and just tell that person, no, thank you, but no, thank you. I'm no longer interested. Okay. Because chances are that was how they were taught to do sales, and they will not stop until you tell them yes or no. All right. Okay. So, welcome. You are here because you want clear, clean, fast sales. Is that accurate? Yeah, I see some head nods. Okay. So, I'm going to give you my steps on how I have been able to help others and myself, obviously, get clients so that you can start closing clients today. All right. I want you to drop a yes in the chat if you are here for real strategy, not just a bunch of crap. Yes, 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 yes. I love this. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, cool. Thank you, ladies. All right. Who is Sales Mama for? I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. You guys are welcome to check out the Sales Mama podcast. You're welcome to check out me. I'm just going to do a quick who is Sales Mama and what we do. We want simple strategies that work for real life. Most of us are that, busy mom leading full lives. We don't have time to sit down and work 100+ hours a week like some of these other folks say. Like I love the Hermosi's strategies, but the just work more doesn't work for us, right? It just doesn't work. Okay. And so we want more confidence leading sales conversations because what I find is that a lot of us have been suppressed in some way, shape, or form where we have not been able to speak our authentic truth or be our authentic self. We have learned this pushy, outdated way of sales that does not feel genuine to us. So therefore, our confidence lacks. All right. I want you to have a rinse and repeat system that you can do over and over and over. Because if there's a way that we can automate this, sure shit, we want to automate this so that you can get back your time and your energy for more important things like your family. Okay, we want clients who move instead of stall. We do not want tire kickers. We do not want those types of people who are just here to waste time. So we do want to be direct, but we also want to be kind. You can be both and not be, a bitch or whatever you think you would be by being direct. All right. And I want you to have momentum that you can actually feel that does not feel forced, where you are really putting maybe your integrity or your values or anything else on the line in order to make a sale. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, we are working with humans, we are working with other people. And so sales is a service when it is done effectively and appropriately. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Yeah, we don't all have the same 24 hours in the day. I hate that. I'm actually re-listening to a couple of sales books right now. And while I love the strategies that are in there, it drives me crazy when they're like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. I'm like, dude, you're a 55-year-old man with like grown ass kids that you probably weren't even a part of their life. Like, get out of here with this. So I get a little heated on that. But I'm Sausha. I'm a mom of four. Mine are pretty young yet. They are 2, 4, 6, and 8. My two oldest are in school. My two youngest go to a part-time daycare. So if you're wondering where they are today, they're actually not here today. Sometimes they actually sit in on these trainings and you see half-naked toddlers running around. But today they're actually at the sitter. I have managed to build a multiple six-figure business for myself and many others. I have also consulted for many 7 to 8+ figure companies, leading some top sales teams, doing things like landing pages, automations, Facebook ads, sales trainings. I mean, you name it, I've probably done it. And I want to teach you how to sell with clarity and confidence and the systems that you can use in everyday real life. Okay. If you have any other questions about me personally, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. I'll talk your ear off. All right. Okay. Here we go. Your effort is there. How many of you here feel like you are just already working your butt off? Like there's not enough time in the day. Have you ever said that to yourself? Yeah, me. Yes, me. Like, man, there is just not enough time in the day. You're doing all the things, you're posting, you're emailing, you're putting yourself out there, or what it feels like you're putting yourself out there and checking all the boxes, and you're sitting down and you're boom, 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 boom. But maybe the income is not matching the effort. Does that feel accurate to say? You're putting all this time, all this energy, and you're like, man, where where are those dollar bills? Okay. That is what we want to focus on. Okay. Crickets. Yes, that's like the worst too, where you're like putting all of this out there and then there's a whole bunch of nothing. All right. We want to fix that today. I would love for you guys to have some clients by the end of this month using the tools in this today. Okay. So you're doing the work, but typically it's without a structure, without a process, without a system, without real, what do I want to say? Real effectiveness to it because you're like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, but there's really no rhyme or reason to why you're doing it or when you're doing it or how you're doing it. Okay. So you may be having lots of conversations. How many people here are getting most of their leads from like social media or like Facebook opt-ins? Or I'm curious where most people are getting their leads from, their potential clients from. Okay, typically what I see is people are having conversations on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, um, opt-in forms, networking events, stuff like that. So I want to see where you guys are at. Facebook and LinkedIn, networking events, DMs. My leads are social media and word of mouth. Okay, word of mouth is a good one too. Okay, LinkedIn, working on some local public leads. Okay, yep. Public, honestly, like local events is huge. I think people really underestimate the power of local social media and word of mouth. Mine is word of mouth right now, but I would love to have some leads come to me. Yes, that's like the best feeling when you have people like you guys, how you show up here and it's like, you know what? Something must be working. Facebook and some leads from LinkedIn. Love a good local event. You and me both. Okay. So we're having conversations, or what feels like lots of conversations, but we're not really moving that needle forward in that conversation. Or sometimes that conversation stalls and you're like, what do I do with my hands? Where do we go from here? Right? Or maybe you're putting out a bunch of content, but the content maybe doesn't have clear call to actions, or the call to actions might not resonate with the client or the prospect. And so they're not converting. You have warm leads in your inbox or your CRM, and there's no follow-up system for them. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of times people will send an initial follow-up right after a phone call, maybe follow up 2 days later, and then boom, nothing after that. Okay. We talked a little bit about the fear of being annoying holding you back, the fear of what they're going to say, what they're going to think. I don't want to bother them. If they wanted it, they do it. How many of you have said that before? Oh, if they really wanted to do it, they would just do it. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And while that is true, less than, I think the statistic is like less than 15% of the population actually buys that way, right? And typically, when they are ready to buy something, they've already had all their questions answered, they've done all their own research, okay? And at that point, you're not actually selling, you are just completing a transaction. Okay, that is not the art of selling, that is completing a transaction. All right, that is just that closing process already happening. They were already sold before they even came to you. Thinking that you maybe need more time or that they need more time. All right. Yes, more leads will help, but you don't always need more leads. You need more leadership in yourself, in your business, in your conversations, because that's why people come to you. They come to you because you are solving a problem for them. Think of yourself as the doctor diagnosing a problem. And so that's a whole nother can of worms, but let's just say that you went to a doctor and you were like, "Hey, I'm having this issue." And you said to them, okay, well, if you wanted it, you would just do it. How would that feel? You'd be like, what the hell? I came here and I was hoping that you would help me solve my problems, right? The doctor takes initiative, asks the hard questions, and then makes a proposal, follows up with the protocol or the procedures, and makes sure that you're getting the support and the help that you need. Okay. So think about it that way. That is what you are doing. All right. Um, we're going to skip this because I basically just said that. So, what I want to talk about is the client getting system. I want you to have a structure that you can trust, messages that convert, conversions that move, and confidence in your next steps. Who here has a script that they already use? Not that you have to use word for word, but who has prospecting scripts, sales call scripts, follow up scripts, DM scripts? Just drop yes or no in the chat. I want to see kind of where everybody's at. Yes, 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 no, yes. Okay. No, some, no. Okay. And not that you want to use a script word for word, but scripts are really good guidelines, right? Anything that we're going to do more than once, we want to create a system or a process for it so that we can rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. This is why it's important to have those talking points on a call. This is why it's important to have pre-qualifying questions so you don't have to get on phone calls with tire kickers. This is why it's important to have follow-up series so that you know what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, and how you're going to say it. Okay. So that's what we're going to work on first. Okay. So number one, I want you guys to go back and think about who you have spoke with in the last 30, 60, or 90 days. Do you have easy access to these individuals? Okay. Just put yes or no in the chat. It can be in a CRM. Sometimes, if you don't have a CRM, you might have a Google spreadsheet. Some people are utilizing the new Facebook Leads Meta Business Suite, and some people have nothing right now and they're just winging it still. Okay. There's no right or wrong answer. That is what we are here for. Okay. Okay. Some yeses and some nos. Okay. Okay. So, what I want you to do first is think about 5 people. If you don't have access to the last 30, 60, 90 days, what I want you to think about right now is 5 people who you want to work with right now. Who are people that you have communicated with recently that you're like, dang, I would really like to work with this person? Okay. Because we're going to find a way today to reactivate them, reframe it, and reinforce so that you can re engage these people. See if you can't bring that conversation back to the surface and move them forward. All right. So drop done in the chat when you have your 5 people. Write them down, put them in your phone, put them somewhere. Who are the 5 people that come to mind first? Don't overthink this, just the first 5 people. Okay. Done. Okay. We'll wait for a few more. Done. All right. Perfect. Done, done. Awesome. Okay. I'll let you guys keep getting those going. All right. And so we want to wake these leads up who may be hiding in our DMs, they may be hiding in our story replies, they may be looking at link clicks, post engagement, or they could even be new followers. Silent watchers convert fast in Q4 when we create a sense of urgency, or when we put pressure on their own urgency, right? Because at the end of the day, it's really not up to us if they move forward or not. It's getting them to see whether or not this is something that is going to benefit them and what is the pain of staying the same versus the thing that they desire most. Okay? So when we talk about pressure in sales, old traditional sales will teach you pressure as in don't let them leave until they say yes. Find a way to get them to say yes, corner them until they say yes, confuse them till they say yes. I actually had a sales manager tell me that once, and it was just like, what? But in new sales, how we do sales today, we do internal pressure. So pressure isn't bad, but the pressure comes from within the prospect, from within the lead, okay? Because at the end of the day, it yes, great, it helps me grow my business if that person invests with me, but it's up to them if they want the change now. And so they will sense that internal pressure. Okay. So think about health and wellness for an example, and somebody who maybe wants to lose weight or balance their hormones or who wants to have a baby, something like that. When they are experiencing that internal pressure and we are able to re engage them, reactivate them, ask the hard questions, a lot of times it can put that sense of urgency on that person of why they need to do this now versus wait another 3 months or wait another 6 months. And so one of the things that I say to people, not that you need to write this down for this step, but what I have said to people on calls before that I have had follow-ups is, hey, how would you feel if we had this same conversation 6 months from now? How would you feel if we've had this same conversation 12 months from now? Right? And you can use something very similar to that. And it is up to them to see whether or not the pressure buildup is enough for them to take action now. Because you and I both know that people don't move until things get bad enough. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, looking at your DMs, your story replies, your links, your post engagement, your new followers, all of these people are actually warm leads. I know I told you to come up with five, but I also want you to screenshot this because these are going to be all of your current warm leads that you can go back and reactivate. So, go back and looking at your last 30, 60, 90 days of direct messages in all social media platforms. Go back and look at people who are watching your story, replying to your stories, reacting to your stories. One thing that I do on a weekly basis is we go back through as a team, um, and look at who has been clicking on the links in our emails because we will put information in our emails that says, if you want to learn more, click here. Well, the people who want to learn more are going to click, and you can see those things in your email campaigns. Okay. So put that as part of your hot list or your warm list of people that you can engage with. Hey, I saw that you've been clicking a lot of the links in my emails recently. Did you want to talk more about this thing that I'm offering? Okay. Same thing with post engagement. If you have somebody who has been really active in your posts lately, reach out to them. Hey, I want to say thanks so much for all of the support that you've been doing on my post. Tell me a little bit more about what goals you have going on right now. What resonated with you out of the most recent thing? Hey, I saw you commented on this thing. Can you tell me more about that? Okay. And then until you are able to unmanage messaging new followers, spend the 5 or 10 minutes and send everybody that follows you just a new message, right? And this is really cool with ManyChat now. You can actually automate this. Does everybody know what ManyChat is? Just drop a yes or no in the chat. No, yes, no. Okay. So we'll send a link out afterwards so you guys can see what it looks like. I don't know if I have a referral link or not. But I will send it out so you guys can take a look at it. It is a direct message automation system to where it will automatically reply to people who are commenting on your post or following you on social media. And this works really well for Facebook and Instagram. So it helps free up your time and your energy, and you can tell who is warm leads versus not warm leads. Okay. So we'll share that information with you after this, but the one that we use here is called ManyChat, and it does help. Okay. And so we want to come up with some reactivation scripts that are light touch, they're direct, but they have that bold leadership energy, that doctor energy. You know what you're talking about. You know you can help them. And the more confidence and conviction that you can have, the more people are going to be able to feel that, right? We don't want that wishy-washy, like, oh, no pressure, whenever you want. Because when we do stuff like that, people never take action. I know when somebody is like, oh, get back to me whenever, I'm like, well, whenever is never. For me, anyways. Does anybody else resonate with that? When somebody tells me no pressure, I'm like, fine, no pressure. Like, I will hardly do anything then. Yep, exactly. Okay, so I'm not the only one there. And again, it's not that we want to apply pressure in a gross way, but if they came to you for a reason, you better be showing up as the leader and the coach, the consultant, the professional that you are to solve that problem. Okay? And so this is where I want you to pick those five leads, and you are going to message them today. Okay, whether it's during this training or immediately afterwards, I want you to message them today. Okay. Um, and again, with like the light touch, before I get into like some examples, we'll get into some examples here in just a second. But light touch can be that casual re-engagement, okay, depending on how long it's been since you've had that conversation. If it's been, more than a few weeks or a couple of months, I like to think of this as the coffee shop re-engagement. So it's like, hey, how has things been since the last time we connected? I know we were talking about this, this, and this. Are you still having issues with this? Are you still struggling with this? Are you still looking for support with this? Hey, I've been thinking about you, right? We want to keep it short and sweet and light, but also direct in the point that we want to, hey, just checking in. No, no, we're not just checking in. We want to know if you've been able to do the things that you want to do in life, right? And so when you can start showing up as that leader and taking initiative in those conversations, people will respect you and your time a lot more too, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but I get so irritated by just the little like, hey, just checking in. Hey, just checking in. It's like, just stop wasting time. Like, tell me the thing that you actually want to tell me, right? Okay. And so it's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see some head nods. I see some yeses in the comments. So we want to be direct but kind, okay? Lead the conversation. What would you put in the subject line? It depends on, so I'm assuming you mean email, okay? So if I was just checking in with somebody, but depending on the conversation, sometimes I just put their name. Sometimes I'll put thinking of you. Sometimes I'll put um, yeah, their name and like an emoji or a dot 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 question mark or thinking of you or how you've been or do you want to catch up or something like that that's more like casual and softer because if you haven't talked to somebody in like a few weeks or a few months and you come at it with straight out the gate hard sales, we're going to do this thing, go go go, they're going to delete, like they're not going to get back to you, right? And so it's how do you re-engage them and warm them back up? So I would say something like, you know, Marina heart, and then hey Marina, I've been thinking about you lately and how you've been working on your goals, wondering if you found the support that you needed. Um, can't wait to hear back from you and see what you've been up to, right? Something like that. Okay. Can't wait to hear, let me know how things have been. Did you find that client or did you sign that client that you said you were going to sign? I would refer back to my notes of, what conversation I had with them last. And this is why it's so important to take very specific notes when you're having conversations with people. Okay. Next thing we want to reframe. We want to move people from thinking to deciding. Okay. The worst type of energy to be in is maybe energy. It is like trying to blow up a balloon with a hole in it. All right. So we want to get people to a yes or a no or a follow up with me in a specific amount of time. And then I will make a decision or then I will enroll. Okay because your job is to bring them back to their goal. Again, this is about them, not about you. All right. Yes, I am aware it's your business. Yes, I am aware it is your livelihood and it is your product and your service, but it is about them and solving their problems. So lead with that and get them to decide and commit if now is the time or if later is the time. Okay. Oh, here we go. So we're going to walk through some reframe messages, how we can have a goal anchor, the permission to move. And there are so many different reframe messages. There are so many different closing strategies. I mean, hundreds, right? And so the more you can practice these, the better you will be in real time. It's just like practicing before the big game, running before a marathon, you know, practicing driving before you go take your driving test. Like you want to do all of these before you actually do it. And so this is why it's important to have somebody, whether it is a teammate, a colleague, a coach, I don't care if it's your brother, your sister, your mother, have somebody that you can practice with. Okay. Practice will make progress. Okay. And then the last one is that we're going to talk about today is the what you told me matters reminder. Okay. These message templates will help you unlock movement immediately. Like if the people will reply, it will move the conversation forward and you will see if they've seen it, if they've replied, if they've clicked. So make sure that you're using systems that you can track that data as well. Okay. So give them the next step with clarity. Okay. Actually, before we even get into this, I want to share some of these powerful messages. So, the goal anchor is going to be anchoring back to what they want, what they need. Hey, so and so, you told me that your goal is this. Is that a still priority for you right now? And it's okay to ask people if it's a priority because sometimes it's not, and that's okay. And that is where you honor the no. If somebody gives you a hard no, you honor that. Okay. But if somebody gives you like an objection. There's a difference between a hard no, I'm not interested, this is not no, this is no longer aligned, versus no, I don't have the money, no, I don't have the time, no, I don't have the energy, no, I don't have the resources. All of those are objections, okay? Versus no, I am no longer interested. That is a hard no, and you should honor that, okay? So goal anchor, go back to what it is that they want, they need, and ask them if that is still a priority for them. Is this still important for you right now? Are you still struggling with this? How have things been since you've been working on this goal? Okay. The permission to move. Okay. The permission to move one can go a couple different ways, but basically, you are asking them for permission to work with them, or if they are giving themselves permission to move forward. Okay. Because I found that women specifically have a hard time giving themselves permission to do things. All right. We typically put our children, our animals, our spouses, our family, we put everything ahead of us. And then if we have time for ourselves, we'll do the thing. So if there's leftover resources, if there's leftover time, if there's leftover money, then I'll do the thing. But what if you gave yourself permission to do it now? And sometimes I just explore what this looks like with people, right? Hey, Brittany, what would it look like if you gave yourself permission to do this right now? How would that feel? What would your life look like in 6 months from now if you gave yourself permission to do this? Okay. And sometimes that gets them in the mindset of what would it look like if I said yes to myself right now? Okay. And then the last one, the what you told me matters reminder. This is why it's so important to not have surface level conversations with people. You want to know people. You want to get to know what their goals are, their dreams are, their wants are, their needs are, their struggles. Okay. Because what they tell you does actually matter. And when you can relate what conversation you had with them back to your follow ups, your follow through, your touch points, they will feel seen and heard and understood. You know, hey, so and so, I know it's been a couple months since we've talked. You mentioned that your mom was sick. How are things going with your mom? Right? Like if there was a big life moment that happened the last time that you connected and you just completely bypassed that and you're like, hey, buy my thing. Like that's old, outdated, pushy sales. Like you are not putting the person first at that point. Okay. So you want to connect with the person and then move along with everything else. Hey, so and so, I know it's been a minute since we've talked about your goals. I know you mentioned that you were also taking a trip to Hawaii. How was that trip? Are you back and settled now? Did you want to reconnect about where you're at with your goals? Okay. And that's not a blanket statement that you're going to copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. You may have a template, but you're not going to blanket copy paste, copy paste. How many people have done that before and they've copy pasted and then they accidentally copied the wrong name? I'm guilty. I've done it. You get in a hurry and you're like, shit. I see some people smiling and laughing. So, yeah, that's what happens though, right? When we're not paying attention. Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh no, I'm busted. And so, in those circumstances, edit, edit, edit. Yeah, exactly. You're like, no, and I actually really like this person. Like, it's usually on somebody that you actually really want to work with too. And then you're like, oh, I just ruined it all. So in those circumstances, it is okay to admit your mistake, right? Hey, Nicole, I'm so sorry that I just called you Brittany. Like, I was flying through my follow-ups, and I just want to apologize. Like, sometimes when you get into in the swing of things, you just boom, 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 boom. So, just wanted to call myself out on my own mistake and say that I do recognize that you are Nicole and not Brittany. And just have a chuckle about it, right? So you can send voice messages, you can follow up with text messages, you can do the emojis where you're like smacking yourself in the face. Like, it's okay to use humor with those things, right? Okay. Okay, so step three, reinforce. We want to guide them into the next step with clarity. Here are some scripts that you can use today, and we can kind of play around with these too. Like if you guys have a specific product or service, I can kind of put these in there too. So if you guys want to drop, whatever your product or service is, I can kind of script out some things that I could do, to reinforce and kind of move them forward. We would call these also a closing strategy, right? And there's a ton of different closing strategies, but hey, so and so, here's your next step. Okay. And this is after you've had that conversation. So if we go back, you've already, messaged them, you've already kind of warmed them up. You're going back, or you're going back to their goals, what's important to them, what's important to you, how your last conversation went. If they're still looking for support, great. Here's your next step. Let's hop back on a phone call. If this is still on your heart, I'd love to talk about this more. Would you like help mapping out your next move? Here is what I recommend based on what you've told me so far. Okay. And this one is totally underused because I find that a lot of people are scared to make recommendations. Okay. For fear that the recommendation may not be 100% accurate. And that's okay because based on what they are telling you right now, you can make a mild recommendation and then say something along the lines of, yeah, the doctor frame. Exactly. Exactly. Hey, based on what we're talking about so far, this is where I would recommend starting. But once we work together deeper, I can give you a lot more clarity around this, and this, and make future recommendations. Okay. But don't be afraid to give a recommendation. I mean, we don't want to be actively coaching or consulting without some type of agreement, without some type of energetic exchange, right? Because that's that permission piece. But you can give them a sample of what you would do or recommend. And that sometimes can be in conversation, sales calls, DMs. And another good thing too is in your freebies. Okay. Another one, you know what? Here's what I think makes the most sense based on where you're at right now. And sometimes starting people with a bite-sized piece and then moving them up later is the right step. Okay. Say somebody wants to work with you and they want to do your big, big package, but money is a concern. It's like, okay, how about we start here? Because this makes the most sense based on where you're at. And then later we move you up to here when it feels like the timing is right or better, or we achieve X milestone. Okay. Here's my honest recommendation. Honest authenticity, and you do not have to pitch to everybody. Okay. I know we're reigniting warm leads, but you do not have to pitch to anybody. Like if you or everybody. So if you're reigniting warm leads and the person is like, just telling you all the things and you're like, whoa, this person is in a totally different space and I do not want to work with them right now. It is okay to say, you know what, so and so, this is what I want to share with you. This is my honest recommendation. I would start here. And then how about you and I follow up in a month or 2 months or whatever time frame you think is appropriate. And then let's talk about this again. Okay. So you're almost prepping them and priming them to be ready to work with you. Okay. And I use this one a lot. If it were me, this is what I would do. If I were you, this is what I would do. I use that one a lot. Okay. Don't be afraid to use that one because you put yourself in their shoes and say, well, if I were in a similar situation as you, not saying that you have to do this, but this is what I would do. And so sometimes people like that validation of what would you do? Right? How many people here have like sought out validation from others? Like just tell me what to do. And the person's like, you have to figure it out. It's like, oh, just tell me. Like, just say something. Like I'm like that. Yep, exactly. I've worked with coaches and consultants before, and I like working with people who aren't afraid to tell me what they're actually thinking, right? Like, I'm sure maybe you guys have worked with people in the past where they're like, oh, well, maybe if it's this, or maybe if it's that, or maybe if it's like, oh, just tell me what you're actually thinking. Yeah. I fight with chat. Yeah, no flow for BS. Yes, like just stop bullshitting me. Stop beating around the bush. Like tell me what it is that you're actually thinking and feeling so that we can move through that. And I know it takes a certain level of emotional intelligence to be able to have those conversations, but that's why it's so important to look for people that are at a level that is the same or higher than you, okay? Because you want to be constantly up leveling yourself. I mean, in my opinion, right? If it were me, I don't really want to put myself in a room that I am going to be the smartest person all the time. Like that's not where I want to be, you know? And even having you guys here, there's so many of you here that are going to have an area of expertise that is going to be so much better than what I could do in that arena, right? And so recognizing that and knowing that and honoring that is huge. And I fight with ChatGPT all the time. I'm like, do you listen to me? You're worse than my children. So when you use this system, okay, just to go back so you guys can kind of see, we're going to reactivate the leads. These are the leads that you're going to go after first. Okay, so anybody who's been direct messaging you, story replies, link clicks, post engagement, new followers. Okay, anybody you've also had phone calls with. I should have put that on there. I don't know why I didn't put that on there. Anybody you've had phone calls with. Okay, those are going to be the people who you're going to reactivate. And then you are going to reframe, getting them from thinking to deciding. Okay, that's going to be the next thing. So using the goal anchor, anchoring them back to what their goals were, asking them if now is the time to move, giving themselves permission. Okay. And then what you told me matters. Hey, I remembered what you said. It really is important that we move forward or that you move forward towards your goals. Okay. And then you reinforce by guiding them to the next step clearly. Okay. Any questions on this before we move into buyer psychology? Okay, I'll give you guys a minute here. If you have questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to drop them in the chat. Thank you guys for being so engaged through this. This makes it a lot more fun. So, okay. Q4 buyer psychology. When and why, I should say, buyers move faster in Q4 because it's the end of the year, right? Things feel more urgent. Decisions need to be made. Um, Emotions are high. Problems feel heavier. Clarity beats the discounts. Okay, at least in my opinion. Big solutions sell faster than small offers. Yes, it's important to have small offers and like these entry level DIY type of things, but the real transformation typically happens at those higher levels where you pay to play, right? You pay to pay attention. And so, in my experience, when you are more invested in something, you get better ROI on those things. But you do definitely still want to have your smaller offers so that people can get an entry level into working with you, get a bite-sized piece of what it's like working with you. Those smaller offers can be free, they can be low cost. Typically, they're going to be under your $500 mark. And then, your higher ticket offers, your mid ticket's going to be like 500 to, a few thousand. And then your high ticket is going to be beyond, a few thousand to several hundred thousand, depending on what type of industry you're in. Okay. So right now we are actually in momentum season. We are in momentum season. And I know things slow down for certain people, but we can use this as momentum to get us into 2026. And so it's all about how you talk to people and when you talk to people. And so right now is prime time to start talking to people because next week is Thanksgiving for those of us who are in the US. I know we have some folks in here from Canada and Europe, and while they may not practice or celebrate the same Thanksgiving as us, I know they have similar holidays, and Canada celebrates theirs in October. But we do have a prime time right now to prep people for things like Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. So if you haven't started thinking about those things, now is the time to start thinking about those things. Okay. How can we start to move them forward that now is the time so that they can set themselves up for success in 2026 before things already get crazy? Because now is the time to start. This is the slow season. This is your downtime. This is the time to make decisions so that you can set yourself up for success in 2026. You don't want to wait until 2026 to set yourself up. You want to do it before before. Okay. And so having those conversations with your people now is going to be the one of the keys to getting clients between now and the end of the year. Okay. And we're going to talk a few ways on how to do this. So you can do the clean close. I'll share a little bit about that. The 48-hour window close, the fast action offer. These are just a few that you can do. The fast action offer one is probably my favorite. I love fast action. I love rewarding people by making decisions like quickly. Money loves momentum. Speed, success loves speed. I'm sure you guys have heard all of those phrases and sayings, and in my experience, it has been so true. Anytime I have made a decision quickly, it has always paid off for me uh, tenfold, right? And so I like to also reward those who take fast action. And so I do a lot of bonuses, fast action bonuses. You can also do the 48-hour window. Hey, this offer is good for this amount of time. Now, if you use that window, whether it's 48 hours, 72 hours, 24 hours, 7 days, 14 days, whatever it ends up being, make sure that you honor that. All right. Do not create false urgency and then continue to honor it afterwards, because then you're wavering on your word and people will start to not respect what it is that you say, your boundaries start to waver, so on and so forth. Okay. The clean close is going to be something that is just clean, short and sweet. Is this something that you want or need? Is this something that you want to move forward with? Yes or no. Okay. It's getting a clear yes or no out of that person. All right. So these are all three ones that you guys can use right now. The reason that I picked these is because that we have Black Friday coming up. Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. You can utilize those holidays to grab the attention of your clients. Hey, I'm going to do a fast action offer for anybody who signs up this month. You're going to get a bonus of this. So start thinking about what you could offer in addition to what you already have. That's not going to cost a lot of time or energy. You could also discount something that is not directly tied to your time. I don't like to discount things that are like one-on-one services, but you can discount different products or digital services. So go ahead and drop in the chat what your current offer is, and I can kind of give you a strategy on what I would do for your year-end closeout strategy. Okay. So drop in the chat. This is what I offer. This is what it is. And I'll give you some ideas on what you can do to help close out um, those those people. Okay. So while you guys are doing that, I'll just go back through these. The clean close is that like no pressure, not a whole bunch of weird stuff. It's just leadership. Hey, so and so, I know the last time we talked about this. I just want to know, are you in or are you out? Are you going to be doing this month, or do you want me to follow up with you in 2 months? Okay. Yeah, very clean, very easy. Um, okay, so here I do paid ads management for other women-owned businesses, Meta and Google. So my assumption is that, let's see here, that's Kayla Parker. Kayla Parker, can you unmute and share quick just a little bit about your packages? I'm assuming you do them like in like stipends or monthly contain or monthly retainers. Can you walk me through that a little bit?
Yes, so I've got a couple different package offers, but it really depends on what their ad spend is going to be. A lot of the tiers will contain the same thing, but if you've got a $10,000 ad spend, that's a lot more work to set up than $1,000 ad spend. So, you
Yep.
get a lot of the same things. It just is a matter of how many campaigns are we going to run with that budget. So I have like a um, starter package where, we get choose Meta or Google, go with one of those. I do typically have a minimum required ad spend that they need to do. And then I also offer email marketing set up with them to nurture the leads that we get in through the paid
Okay.
ads. And then in my middle tier, we can do Google and Meta. I have a limit on the campaigns, the number of campaigns that we're able to do. And then the third is just completely custom to them and what they're looking for. Like if they don't like either of the other options, we can fully build out something custom for them specifically.
Okay. And do you have like a 3 month minimum, like that they have to work with you, or a 6 month
Yes,
minimum?
3 month minimum for sure. And I haven't had anyone leave yet, so I don't, which
That's
is good.
good.
And I haven't
Good.
had anyone like
Good.
sign another contract saying that. I just said, at the end of our contract or retainer agreement, that if you want to part ways, that you give me 14 days notice. That way I can like disconnect all of my stuff and, get all of that taken
Mhm.
care of. Um, but yes, 3 months minimum. And then I do a monthly retainer, again, based off their ad spend, really, because it
Okay.
can vary so much.
So how many current leads, warm leads, hot leads, how many people do you have that you feel like you could follow up with here in the next week?
Honestly, I think I have like three that I could actually follow up with. Lead
Okay.
generation has been like, I do a lot of like, I've had people referred to me or like people that I know and I've mentioned what I'm doing. And that's actually how I've got both my clients. So I haven't fared well with other lead generation strategies. So,
Okay. So one, coming up with a referral, like some type of referral system or referral campaign where it's like, hey, for every person that you bring to me, I'll knock this much off your next month's retainer if they sign a 3 month contract. Because then that way it's not anything that's immediately out of your pocket, but you're also rewarding that person that's already working with you and you're getting new client retention, right? So that would be one thing that I would implement with the people that you are already working with, and just go back to them and say, hey, I've had such great success working with you, and thank you so much for the referrals that you've given me so far. Can you think of anybody else that would benefit from this that I could reach out on to on your behalf type of thing? Or is there anybody else you could introduce me to? If they end up signing an agreement, I'll give you 10% off your next 2 months or something like that type of thing, or 3 months or whatever, right? You could do
right,
$500 off or whatever the fee amount feels good for them, like a deal for them, but also is not going to like completely cut into your profits, right? So
right.
that's something that I would do. Another thing that you could do, since you are more service based, is you could add in bonuses right now for anybody that signs up with you. So thinking about those three people that you had just talked to, what was their biggest pain point in why they didn't sign up with you at that time?
I think a lot of people's biggest pain point is they don't know what they want. So they think, running ads is a good business or a good idea for their business, but they don't really know what that entails. And so I feel like a lot of people are like, let me think about it. Or some people think, well, I can just do it myself. I've heard that a couple of times. So I can do that. It's like, yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you can. I could also clean my house every day, but I still hire someone to do that. So I don't
You
know.
should use that on a sales call.
Yeah.
I really though. So maybe going back to those folks and saying, hey, I since our last conversation, da 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 da, I'm actually going to be running a special to help you gain clarity on what the next 10 ads you should run are, and maybe what you do is some type of VIP intensive with them, and just incent like give it a value. Like, what would it normally cost you to do like a 60-minute or a 90-minute or a 2 hour intensive to help somebody come up with different ad strategies? I mean, if you're comfortable with coming up with marketing campaigns and whatnot, say it's $1,000 to do something like that with you, and you're going to bundle that in for free for anybody who joins with you now. And then that way they're going to have clarity around what ads they have, what type of ad spend, da 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 da, so that they don't have to feel like they have to know everything themselves. You're going to help take care of that strategy part for them. It won't take a ton of your time, because I'm assuming that you know what you're doing, and so you're going to see different campaigns, and maybe what you do is give them different versions of what you've done for other people and say, hey, we could do something like this, or we could do something like this. But bonusing that in, I mean, you could also do discounts. I'm not a huge fan of discounts on services unless they pay for like all 3 months up front. You could do something like
Right.
that. Hey, for anybody who works with me this month, I'm gonna, for this Black Friday Small Business Saturday, I'm gonna give them 10% off if they do all 3 months up front, and give you a bonus one-on-one call or something along those lines.
Gotcha.
And kind of see where they're at with that. I mean, would that be something that feels aligned with where you are, or?
Yeah, no, I like that because I feel like people, they know it would help them, but I feel like the people I have spoken to haven't really like bought all in. And I feel like I probably haven't done like a really great job like selling it yet because I have been like establishing my first couple clients and trying to get my processes and everything down, but I'm ready to like bring more people on now. Like I'm ready to sell my services more so than just this is what I do. And then it kind of rolls in from that. Like I'm ready to sell myself and my services. So I like that a lot. I think that would be beneficial. So,
Yeah. And if your type of clients, we'll get into this in the buyer psychology here in just a minute. But if your clients are people who really like statistics, you can also share a little bit of how you've been able to grow the brands from the current companies. Like, hey, I've been able to increase visibility by 200%. Hey, I've been able to increase conversions by X amount of percent. And what would that mean for your business if I was able to bring in 10 more sales? It more than pays
right.
for, myself and then some. So bringing it back to the ROI. I like this.
Perfect.
Very cool. Okay. My offer is launch ready signature website package. Okay. We'll do one more and then we'll move on. So Carissa, do you want to unmute quick? Are you here still? Do you want to share a little bit about your offer? Oh, hang on. I can't hear you. Is it just me? Can you guys hear me still?
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Um, yeah, so I guess my offer is creating a signature websites for women coaches.
Hmm.
So um when we start off, we'll do like a vision building session where we kind of map out how we want the website to feel and how they want it to express their business. And then once that's about it could be like a 2 month process as we like build the whole thing. It just depends on, how fast they are when it comes to like photos and things like that so that I can, create the site. And then at the end of it, I offer like a 90-day um like support where I just kind of stay in there and, as the website launches, if there's something that comes up, they get some feedback. Hey, I want to change this, you know, this lead magnet and just switch it out or whatever. I kind of help them with any updates for those 90 days.
Okay. And what has been their biggest pain point, their biggest concern? And even if you think about like the last handful of folks you've connected with, what was their biggest objections for not investing right now?
A lot of, if anything, it's more, I guess, the money. Because yeah, I would say if anything, it's like, oh, I don't know if I can, you know, pay that right now or um yeah, a lot of it's really that.
Okay. So if the biggest concern has been the money, and you're doing a done for you type of service, correct?
Correct.
Okay. What if you did a done with you type of service or teaching them, where it's less work on your end, but you're
Mhm.
kind of having that money objection where it's like, hey, this is going to be the best of the best. This is my done for you service. Maybe you add in an additional month of, back end support. So instead of 90 days, maybe it's an extra 3 month or an extra month for like a Black Friday special. Like, hey, if you move forward with me now, I'm going to build all of this. But instead of 3 months support, you actually get 4 months support because that's not going to be a ton extra on you to do that back end stuff for an additional 30 days because you're not actively building anything. So that could be a pretty easy like bonus or add in. And then you could even create a done with you type of service where you're not really the one that's building out all of the things. You guys are doing it together in your one-on-one sessions, right? So maybe you have like a weekly one-on-one session and it's like, hey, this is the price of this. I'm going to teach you how to do this in our one-on-one sessions. We're going to do this together. And then in between those times, you're going to work on this, this, and this, right? So then they have, 3 to 5 hours a week that they're building their own site, but they get your direct guidance and support. But it kind of helps overcome that money objection while you are still there to help them build it. Does that make sense?
Got it. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that you could do, I don't know how easy it would be for you to come up with a, a low ticket DIY type of offer where it's like, here's the templates on how to build your own site type of thing. If you're using something like Squarespace or Shopify or, and you can maybe even, or like go high level, like you can white label a lot of that type of stuff, right? So thinking
Yeah.
of ways that you could even come up with, I don't know, a $97 guide or a $197 guide. And it's like, hey, you invest in this, it's going to have everything that you need to do plus the templates that you need for each page. So here's what your About Me page looks like. Here's what your media bio page looks like. Here's what your main offer suite looks like. And putting all of that out there so that they just buy the bundle. And you can have it more than that. It can be $497, it can be $997. I mean, whatever your audience, is willing to pay for something like that. But bundling something like that, where again, it's not going to take a lot of your time or energy, but you can put it out there and it still solves their problem.
Yes, I actually like that idea.
Yeah.
The like putting the website template together and you just kind of like they can just plug it in. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yay. Okay. I like that.
Very cool. Okay, and then we have a 12-week program for mothers, helping them acknowledge where they're at in their fitness journey, creating gratitude guidance, and setting a SMART goal. So anytime you have like a group program, an automatic, like easy thing is to add in an additional time, right? Especially if it's going to be something that is like evergreen, you can always add in another 30 days, or if you have a DIY course, you can add in some one-on-one sessions. I'm a big believer in adding in additional support versus discounting. I mean, you can discount if you have the profit margins for it, but typically it's better when you're a small business to add in things to have increased perceived value or increased value versus just automatically discounting something. So that's something that I would do there. Small and rural business owners cut the chaos and grow their profits and thrive with their business. Very cool. So same thing here. Even having like done for you templates where it's like, hey, they can bundle, this, or maybe they invest in your services and then they get the templates for free. So think about how I think of bonuses or fast action deals is what are the main pain points of my ideal audience and how can I create a bonus or incentive around that to move them forward and offer it for a limited time. Okay, because we don't want to bundle everything together because then you'll be doing all the things all the time, but you can have a limited amount of time bonus so that you can have it right now. Okay. um all right, let's see here. Yeah, start today and bonus, join by the end of the week and upgrade. Join your program and unlock this challenge. Another thing that you can always do is that bite-sized thing. Hey, lock in your rate today. You're locked in for this rate. Prices are going to increase in 2026. You guys should all be giving yourself raises. If you have not been giving yourself raises, I want you to seriously consider that. I mean, standard is like 2 to 5% in any career. So think about what you're doing for yourself and your profit margins. Um, and so think about that. Hey, how can we also use something along those lines as a fast action? Prices are going to increase, membership is going to increase. I'm going to add this, and this, and have it at this price for this amount of time. Or, limited time, I'm going to have $500 off or $1,000 off. Again, if you do discounts, just make sure that it's not directly tied to your one-on-one, because then you can have anger, resentment, right? If you're like, God, why am I doing all of this for this little of money? But if it's a DIY or a group program, something that's like super scalable, it's okay to offer discounts. I just wouldn't do it for one-on-one services unless you're doing like 3-month packages, 6-month packages, annual packages, something like that. Okay. Um, so what do you want clarity on? I know we kind of dropped it in the chat, but we can kind of go over questions here. These are the things that I get the most. And if you guys have additional questions, drop them in the chat. The thing that comes up is what do I say without sounding pushy? This is one thing. Go. No, my dog's in here. A lot of times people think that they are being pushy, and I want to reframe that to you're not being pushy, you're being direct. Okay. And so we don't want to beat around the bush with a lot of this stuff because it's wasted time, it's wasted energy, and nobody likes that maybe energy, okay? And I think a lot of us know that when somebody is reaching out and we've had a previous conversation with them, it's like I know what you're going to ask me. Just ask the thing, right? So don't be afraid of being direct. You don't want to be pushy in the sense of, hey, why don't you just do this thing? Hey, so and so's already doing this thing. Hey, you should just do this thing. Hey, have you thought more about this thing? Hey, I'm having a sale right now. Will you buy this thing? I'm sure you guys have all been bombarded with those types of DMs where it's like, hey, buy this thing. Hey, buy this thing. Hey, buy this thing. That is pushy. But when you are connecting it back to somebody and their wants, their needs, their goals, that's not pushy, especially when they've asked for help at one point in time. Okay. Let's see here. I have 5 women that have inquired about being interested in joining my mentorship, but complain about money and time being an issue. How do I close on a deal that somebody's interested in but doesn't actually want to pay? So when this happens, okay, typically it's not about the money, it is about the perceived value. Because if somebody's pain is high enough, they will find a way to make it happen. Okay. So when this happens, and this is another thing where you want to keep conversations going and keep following up with people too. Okay, so let's say that I had somebody that wanted to work with me, but they're like, oh, I just don't have the money, da 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 da, I just don't have the time. Okay, let's say you had, first, I would remove those objections. Okay, Victoria, let's say that you had the time and you had the money. Is this something that you actually want to do? Okay. So removing those objections will then, one, figure out if there's any other objections underneath of that. Okay. And if there is objections underneath of that, that's your real problem, not the time or the money. Okay. If there's no objections underneath of that, then it is the time and the money. And so in that case, I would say, okay, Victoria, so if you know you want to do this, you have the time, you have the money, you say it's a yes. If I can help you get back the time and help you find the money, would this be something that you would want to move forward with today? And so sometimes when we are being clear and direct in that, and people, especially when you are doing something that is substantial and life changing for somebody, it can be really hard for people, right? Because they're like, oh man, like I have to make a decision now. Like this is no longer just a dream I have in my head. Like this is something that I actually have to do. And I see here you said you offer mentorship services for horses. Also have a private Facebook group. Okay, can you, Victoria, just unmute really quick and share a little bit more about your mentorship services for your horses or for horsemanship?
Absolutely, I'd love to. How this all started was I did these clinics this summer called the Cowgirl Way. And what I found is I had 60 women that came to my place over the summer, and they started talking to me about how safe they felt in my environment and how like they never felt so confident and
Mhm.
they felt really good about themselves and they finally believed that they could. So that was really cool. And then they all were like, "Hey, what now?" Because they wanted the same, like what we're talking about. They wanted this momentum,
Yeah.
but they're like, we've never felt so safe to like be vulnerable and be us. So then they're like, what can we do now? So that's where like the membership came. I'm like, okay, you've already been here. You like being around me, you like having conversations. So now I've got a membership that's super affordable. And then not only that, you get a discount for like attending a clinic. So it's $25 a month for if you've attended a clinic, and if you haven't, but you still want to be a part of it, then it's $45. So then like it's accessible to anybody, any cowgirl that claims that she wants to be a part of this and kind of connect with other women and all the things. So that's the membership side of things. And then what I started to do was like the girls were like, "Hey, we want to just like we want to basket all in when my horse isn't going really well or my husband's annoying me and I don't have motivation, whatever." Like they're like, "We really feel safe talking to you. Can you offer mentorship?" So this was actually a service that I started because people were like asking me to.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's amazing because I never thought I would do that, but I love it. And so now I was like on my stories the other day and I was like, okay, so if I could give a gift back, if I could give back because all these women have been giving me their time, energy, and all the things this year, if I could give back like one mentorship spot, who would be interested? But you have to tell me why you would want to do it because I want them to claim what like and kind of in their brain the psychology side of it, tell me why I should choose you kind of thing. So I had 5 women reach out and some I've never even met, which was super cool. And
Well,
they're like, paragraphs, this is why I want to sign up. And I was like, this is awesome, I'd love to like get to know you, but now I'm like, hey, I don't want to pick one, I want to pick all 5. But how do I jump on a phone call with them and then by the end of the phone call they're like, you know what, that was enough for me to do 5 more sessions or whatever. Like that's just kind of where I'm at, to have people actually closing at the end of a phone call because they've already told me that they want to.
yeah. So a couple of things as I'm hearing you talk is one, I would absolutely set up phone calls with all of those people, but I would also make sure that they are more sales call and not coaching call, right? Because a lot of times what ends up happening is we coach and we consult in the initial consultation, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need anything after this," right? And you're like, "Oh man, like I thought I was giving so much value that they would want to just like stick around." And so it's not that you want to keep everything, it's asking quality questions to get them to see that there
Mm,
is something missing and you can help them with that thing, right? And so you can also pitch it in a way at the end where it's like, well, yeah, you can absolutely do all these things on your own, but by working with me, we can get together, and do the things faster, and you have the accountability and the support and the guidance. And when things do get
mm,
tough or you don't have the time, I'm right there to help you keep on track with what's most important to you. Okay. And so having those conversations and kind of reframing it. But if you do want to say give one scholarship out of the 5 of them, I would encourage you to not give it for free and do it for half off or 75% off. In my experience, again, it pays to play, right? You pay to pay attention. And so when I have done scholarships in the past that were completely free, a lot of times people did not get the results that I wanted them to because they were not invested in it. Okay.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they want to continue to work with you, or if you do a scholarship, it's like, hey, I can offer my services at half off, but you also need to write a book report every month. Or, hey, I'm going to offer my services at half off, but you have to do a 30-minute testimonial with me at the end of this, right? So, like,
Mm,
making sure that there's something extra that they have to do to fulfill the scholarship need. Just like if you were to apply for a school, you have to have good grades and certain standards in order to maintain that scholarship. You do the same thing within your own programs, right? And so, and if the mentorship is too big of an investment for those, you can say, you know what, great. How about we get you started in my membership? You're going to get a lot of these other things. And then when you're
mhm,
ready, we can talk about this again in the future, right? Or if there's somebody who is like, yes, I want to do this, you can also take a deposit and then work out the payment plans and however you see fit. But this is also where it's nice to have like Klarna and Afterpay and Affirm, and have different ways where you can help them really break down the cost of investing, because when you break it down into like a daily investment for sometimes for people, it's like this could cost you $15 a day. Like you spend $15 a day on Amazon stuff or coffee.
or
Like what it,
going to
what would it mean?
Starbucks, yeah.
Yeah, like what would it mean for you to have a really awesome connection, not only with yourself, but with your horse and take things to the next level for $15 a day? And
Totally.
so there's a whole bunch of different closing strategies, but it's like figuring out who your buyer is and what's going to resonate with them most. So, does that kind of help?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem. I know we have about 10 minutes left, but I have like so many things that I also want to share. So, if you guys have more questions on this, feel free to message me on Instagram, on either Sasha.Davis or the Sales Mama School one. We're happy to answer the questions here. I also talk about a lot of these things on the podcast as well. And then I do want to share this and the winners. And so that's what we'll spend the last 10 minutes. And then if we have any additional questions, we will go over that. Okay. So your next step is Sales Mama School. Okay. That is my signature offer. That is the thing that I work with 90% of the women in. That is our group. That is our support. And so let's talk about what happens in Sales Mama School. It is built for women just like you, everybody here. This is exactly what we do, okay? Consistent clients, consistent revenue. I have simple systems in there, rinse and repeat, weekly support. We have calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we also have twice a month Q&As, and we also have guest expert speakers that will come in and share on different topics, sales, marketing, social media. We've had money manifestation ones. I mean, we've had stuff all across the board. So it's really cool to see like what other people are out there doing. And then we talk all about growth without sacrificing real life. So I am not that person that is going to tell you just to do more. There's a couple people here that probably vouch for that, that if I see you getting to the point where you are burnt out, you're overwhelmed, you're overworking yourself, I'm going to tell you to stop, take a break, reassess, go do something for yourself, and let's come back at this with a clear head, a clear mind. Okay. So, what you get inside is going to be weekly live coaching, real time message breakdown. So, just like what we did today, I have a private Slack channel where you can say, "Hey, Sausha, I'm talking with this person. Screenshot me their conversation. I will tell you how I would proceed with that conversation." You can also upload sales call recordings. We will do sales call breakdowns. We have scripts, we have systems. I have content that you can use, plug and play content, different conversion trainings, everything that you could possibly want for sales and marketing with women entrepreneurs and small businesses in mind. That is what we have. Okay. Um, and when you join this month, I will say, I have $1,000 off. Plus, you're going to get the 3 bonuses that I'm going to give away today. So I have a 7-day sales momentum challenge. Somebody is going to win that today. I have a follow-up script vault. Somebody is going to win that today. And then I have a Sales Mama sales bundle, which somebody is going to win today too. And then I have a surprise one that we're going to go through. I'm going to share who gets that one here in just a minute. So you can screenshot these if you want, but we have helped people get double, triple, 10x sometimes their monthly goals. I mean, we've worked with people, I think up until today, like the biggest month that somebody's had is like a 40 or $50,000 month, which they were making like an $8 to $10,000 month before that. And then we've worked with people who are at the $1,000 a month and they got their first $12,000 month recently, so it's all across the board, and we really try to meet people where they are at. So let's see here. Yeah, exactly. You could book a call with Alexis. Alexis is actually a graduate of the program. She is actually one of the big success stories of Sales Mama. So you can speak directly with a graduate about what it's like. You're welcome to hop on my calendar as well. But if you want to learn more about Sales Mama School, we put Alexis's calendar in the chat. I highly encourage you to just talk with her. And we're not going to be the hard pitch people. Okay. So just chat with her. All right. So live giveaway time. We're going to go through the Sales Mama sales bundle, the follow-up script, the momentum challenge, and then somebody is going to get a 90-minute VIP session with me, which also comes with a 90-day plan. And that is normally $1,000. Okay. So here are our winners. I have not seen this yet, so my team did this in the back end, but we have the Sales Mama bundle is Sally Allen. Is Sally still here? Woohoo! Congratulations, Sally. You will get that. You guys will get all access to all of this within the next 48 hours. Okay. The follow-up script vault, Bree Fuentes, is she still here? Bree still here? Hey, Bree. Thank you for being here. 7-day momentum challenge, Domo Woodham. Am I pronouncing that right? Damo or Domo?
It's Damo.
Damo? Okay, congratulations, you won that. And let's see here, the 90-minute VIP session with me is, oh, Victoria, you were the one I was just talking with. So congratulations. We're going to talk a whole bunch more about all the things that we were just talking about. So congratulations, ladies. Yes, yes, yes. What I want you guys to do is email the support at salesmama biz. I'm going to pop that in the chat here to claim your prize, support at salesmama.biz. That is going to go straight to our support team, and we will work on getting these together for you. You should have them here in the next 48 hours. Okay. But just go ahead and send us an email so that we have your names and we can get that information ready for you. And let's see, we have just a couple more minutes. We'll see. Yes, yes. Hey, it was really good to see you, Diana. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the live training? Otherwise, I can kind of talk a little bit about these two things here, and you guys can kind of stay on, I'll just stay on and keep answering questions until everybody hops off. So, what do I do if they stop replying? Okay, if people stop replying, I say more if they stop engaging. I do a three strikes, you're out. So if they're not opening my emails, if they're not clicking on my emails, if they're no longer engaging with my post, if they're not opening my DMs, three strikes, you're out. Give them, just don't put any more time or energy into it. But if they are still opening emails, seeing your responses, engaging with you on social media, just follow up with them, every month, every other month. Chances are at some point they will reinvest or invest with you. Okay. What if they say they need to wait until January? This is going to be something that's going to come up a lot. I'm sure, you guys will even use this. If you wanted to do sales mama school, it's like, I'm going to wait till January. I hear this a lot, and I know a lot of other people hear this a lot. Okay. And so again, it is, how do we incentivize people to take action now versus waiting until January? So think about those pain points and how you can help overcome those pain points. So things that I have done in the past are lower down payments to lock in your spot. You don't start until January. You can do special discounts for this month. You can add in months. Another thing that I have done in the past where it's like, okay, well, I'll give you November and December for free. And then you can actually start in January. You're actually going to register now, but your contract won't officially start until January. So then that way you still get, the 6 months or 12 months of, whatever it ends up being that you invested in. So you can utilize this time to your advantage. Hey, Nicole, I know you said you wanted to wait till January, but if you go ahead and put in a deposit now, you can lock in your spot and we'll actually get started in January. Okay. If you guys are doing deposits, I encourage you to do at least a 10% deposit to lock in their spot. Make sure that you put that it is non-refundable. Okay. We're not doing refundable deposits. Okay. They are committed to this just like you are. All right. You can add in time, you can add in bonuses, you can do extended payment plans. And again, utilize PayPal credit, Klarna, Afterpay, business credit cards. I mean, well, for you guys, business credit cards. Help people get creative with this. Okay. If they say money is tight, kind of like what I was sharing a little bit earlier, remove that objection. If money wasn't an issue, would this be something that you would want to move forward with? Okay. If money wasn't the concern, is there anything else that would stop you from doing this today? Okay. So we want to remove that objection to see if there's anything underneath of that. Sometimes they'll be like, ugh, I just don't know if my spouse is going to let me, or just don't know if I have the time to actually do this, or I just don't know if this is actually the right thing for me. And then you'll get to the real objection, and then you'll have to handle that objection. Okay. But if it ends up just being the money, you could say something like, okay, well, if I was able to help you find a way to make the money, create the money, or find a way to break the payments down in a way that is easy and affordable for you, would there be any other reason that you would say no to moving forward today? You can then do the negative of it. Okay. Would there be anything else stopping you? Okay. Is there any other reason that you would not want to do this today? Okay. So don't be afraid to then go negative with it too. All right. What's the best message to send today? Any message. You will send, just go send messages. Don't overthink them. Just go send the messages. I can't tell you how many clients of mine I have that I have to just remind them, just send the message, just send the message, because they will go to sit down and do their follow-ups and they will waste 30 minutes overthinking about what the heck they're going to say. And I promise you, it does not matter that much. Okay. Be yourself. Just write something. Okay. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. If you guys have to hop off, no worries. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'll keep answering these questions until everybody hops off. Okay. How do I follow up without sounding pushy? We talked about this one already. Reframe pushy to you are just being direct. Okay. Think about how you want people to interact with you. You want people to be straight with you. I want people to be straight with me. Okay. I don't want them to be pushy towards me. And there's a difference between you're going to do this or have you thought more about doing this? Okay. Two totally different energies there. And so one is direct and one is pushy. Okay. I wouldn't be like, all right, Victoria, you're going to do this thing. Like, I don't care what you say, you're going to do this thing, right? I know this is the right thing for you, and I'm not taking no for an answer. Like, that's being pushy. Or, if somebody says no 3 times and they're walking out the door and you're like, but wait, but wait, but wait, but wait. It's like, just let them be. Okay. But there's a difference between, what would it mean for you if, or is this a priority for you? Okay. So there's ways that you can word it that are kind and direct without having to be that like gross, pushy type of thing. Okay. And then I'll answer these questions here, and then we can hop off. And then if you guys have additional questions, please, please, please reach out. And don't be afraid to book a call on Alexis's calendar. She is amazing. She will tell you all the things. You guys can have a real honest conversation. And then I know sometimes having phone calls with me can be intimidating. So where they're like, holy smokes. So Alexis is really cool though. You guys will love having a conversation with her. Sales Mama School Q&A. How fast can I see results? I've literally had people see results in less than a week. I've had people sign up and they get 2 clients the next day. But just like any product service program, results vary. Results depend on how much you are invested in the product or service. Okay. And to this day, everybody who has been engaged in the program has at least doubled or tripled or quadrupled their investment within the first 90 days of working together. Okay. I do have guarantees, I have things in place, but you will see results quickly if you're showing up for the calls and asking for support and you're not afraid to get a little uncomfortable. See you, Diana. What if I'm busy? What if? What are you going to do about it? Everybody's busy. Like I'm busy, you're busy, everybody's busy, right? And so we prioritize things that are most important to us. Okay, we reprioritize what's important to us. And so you just have to get really clear about what your priorities are right now. And if, sales and marketing and growing your business is a priority, we will find a way to make it happen. I am not that person that's going to say, you know what, you need to work 80 or 100 hours a week. No, 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 no. My workday is 9 to 2. Okay. My workday is 9 to 2, and I have managed to build myself a multi six-figure business. And I've done this by also consulting with other businesses. So this is not just me sitting here selling coaching. Like I have also done this through commissions, through services, through selling other things. It's not just what you see here, because I do think that sometimes that is triggering when you see business coaches who have been successful just by selling business coaching, right? And so sometimes it's like, oh, you're the only reason you're successful is because you're selling things on success. Okay. So I have built things beyond this to, I mean, even like last month, there's a consulting company that I'm working with right now. We made them almost $300,000 last month just in new sales. Okay. So that is an example of what I have done for, some larger companies as well. What if I'm new? If you're new, if you're brand new and have no idea what you want or what you need, I will be honest, I am not the person for you. Okay. But if you are new and you know exactly what your product or service is, you know who it is that you're helping, and you know that you want help and you're ready to take action, I am the person for you. But I am not the one that's like going to help you figure out your entire product suite for the very first time. I'm not going to be that person that's going to help you figure out your branding colors or your brand name. Like that is not me. Like you'll have to go somewhere else for that. But if you have those things and you know that you're ready to take things to another level, I would be the next coach after that. Okay. Somebody who, you've already done some of the preliminary things in your business. I would be the person after that. Okay. What if I tried other programs? There's a program for everything. I have done coaching, like my own, like invested in my own coaching since 2017. And I've done business programs, I've done sales programs, I've done marketing programs, I've done social media programs, and they all work. They all work. Some work better than others. And so if you've tried one, don't let one good or bad experience stop you from continually learning. So I set myself a budget You can come to me before. Oh, okay. I set myself a budget basically every year for continuing education where I'm like, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to learn this, and I'm going to learn this. So I'm always learning new things and I'm always investing in coaching. I mean, just this year, I spent $8,000 on a one-on-one coach for 3 months, and then I spent $15,000 on a different one-on-one coach for 6 months. And then I've done different social media programs. I've done other sales programs, because it's like we always want to be learning and growing. Okay. Um, yeah, 9 to 2, and then she yells at us if we're on Sundays or holidays. Yeah, I'm like, you guys better not be around on those days. How long have you been doing this? I have been in business for myself since just before 2017. So what you see here has been in existence for quite some time. I used to operate under the brand of Sausha Davis Coaching for quite some time, and then a few years ago rebranded under Sales Mama LLC. So that is what you see today. But I have been doing this for almost a decade. It's going to be going on 9 years this next year. So, um, but in terms of just general sales and marketing and business consulting, I have been in this arena for a long time, probably a couple of decades. So I've had a lot of experience being in this realm. I've done everything from high ticket sales to building out landing pages, building out sales teams, hosting conferences. I actually just landed a book deal, so I'm in the process of writing a book that's going to be coming out in June. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I've been podcasting since 2018. I've had some really cool guests on. Again, I rebranded the podcast a couple of years ago, so that one is still growing. But that's the Sales Mama podcast that you see now. So but yeah, I've worked with lots of different companies. I've done consulting, I've done coaching, I've worked with small businesses, large businesses, medium-sized businesses, and everything in between. I've operated my own insurance agency. I've had my own consulting agency. I've done setting and closing and yeah, everything in between. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about what I do now is because there's really not anybody out there, or what I do, I should say, not what I do now, but what I do is because a lot of the traditional sales trainings are just, they're like straight from the 80s. I mean, and I'm an 80s kid. But there really hasn't been many updates since then. So it's, there's nothing really for moms, there's nothing really for women entrepreneurs, and if there are, it's everything is pink and frilly and luxury this and luxury that. And I'm like, luxury to me is more time with my family, and more time on my horses and more veggies in my garden, so I feel like I just have different priorities than other people, and there really wasn't anybody else speaking my language out there. And if you can't find what you're looking for, then you create it. Did I think I was going to be a sales coaching consultant? No, but this is where I am, and this is, what I'm great at, and what comes easy to me, and what I'm passionate about. So I intertwine a lot of life stuff with it. I'm actually a Reiki master practitioner as well. So I do a lot of like energy work and things like that are kind of intertwined. So I'm a big believer in like what you put out in the world is what you get back. And like how you show up, like your energy is, it can attract or repel people, so I talk a lot about that within my world too. And I've been hosting retreats since 2018, so I'll do equestrian themed business retreats for women, and that's been a lot of fun to see how horses and people and everything can kind of come together. So, as a part-time volunteer thing, I did EAL. I was a PATH certified instructor for about 7 years. I taught kids with disabilities, horseback riding, basically therapeutic horseback riding. And so I'm very passionate about that too. And I like to intertwine that type of stuff into my retreats. Your kids are welcome on the call too. It's amazing to not have to, yeah, kids, family. Like I'm very big on integrative life. Like there's so many people out there that say, "Oh, your kids are welcome," but then as soon as they see your kids, they give you that snarky side eye, and you're like, "Oh, okay. So what you said and what you meant were two different things." Okay. So, but yeah, if any of us decide, to work together beyond this, just know that you can show up hot mess express with your kiddos because we're all just doing the best that we can with what we have. Okay. Or dogs and great. Yeah, my dogs came in here when I was. They're coming in here sniffing around. I'm like, get out of here. I'm trying to teach a class. So, and then the last question here, and if you guys have additional questions, please let me know, or if you have any comments or anything that you want to share before we hop off. But do I get hands-on coaching? The answer is absolutely yes. Everything we do is hands-on. You are not just a number here. Like I said, you get direct access to me and my team. We utilize Slack, so I want you to get used to using me as like your sales director, your sales coach, your sales leader. So a lot of times what happens is you'll do daily check-ins. Not that you have to, but I find that this works for people. You'll do daily check-ins like, hey, Sausha, here's the people that I'm going to connect with today. Here's the things that I'm going to do. And then you'll do like a daily checkout. Like, here's the things that I got done. Here's the things that I didn't get done. And then I'll ask you why you didn't get those things done. But we have a really fun time. You know, gifts are my love language, gifts, emojis, stuff like that. So we have a lot of fun in Slack. We do a networking call every month. We're going to do a Christmas party and a New Year's party next month, so we'll dress up and do that on Zoom. So we have some fun calls in there too, because I think it's important to have community. And you know, if we're not having fun, then what's the point? So we try to put a lot of that stuff into there too. But lots of hands-on coaching, voice messaging, direct messaging. You know, you get a one-on-one call every month. We do twice a week calls, and just like this, I'm very interactive. I like to call on people. So again, it's not just me. I mean, I know I've been talking a lot for this training, but typically it's a lot more interactive on our other ones because you'll bring stuff that we'll work through together too. So, for example, today we went through a couple different offers that gals had, and how they can repitch their services or how they can follow up with some folks. We've done landing page reviews, social media reviews, sales script reviews. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And it's really nice to hear feedback from other people too. So, okay. All right. Any other questions or comments or anything before we hop off today? I have to head out. Can't wait to chat with you more. Yes, I cannot wait to connect with you more. Thank you for your time. I love your values and what you're offering. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you, Sally. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Bree. And thank you, Domo. And thank you, the rest of you, for being here today. I loved this. If you have any questions, please reach out and, you know, book a call with Alexis. I think you'll really enjoy talking with her too. So, all right, ladies, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. All right. Bye.